Although school has been back in session for a few weeks now, and we're getting very quickly into our fall routines, this sort of marks the end of summer. As we pull into the end of August and the beginning of September, and we will continue with that green season all the way up through Thanksgiving and until the first big season change with Advent. But still, there seems to be, even within this green season after the Pentecost, a little bit of a shift as we end and wrap up the summer months. And in the readings, they don't specifically acknowledge that kind of a shift, but you can see hints of that. And so at this coming Sunday, the last Sunday in August, we will be finishing up with the fairly difficult book of the letter to the Hebrews. And we'll also be pivoting to some different emphases that we will be reading about in the Gospels with some of the other parts of Jesus' ministry. At this coming Sunday, the Gospel that is appointed for the day talks about using a wedding feast as one of Jesus' more frequent metaphors for all kinds of things, but especially in this week's Gospel about belonging. And it really is a very appropriate time for us to think about that sense of being together and belonging and what that means for us in the church. So at the communion, the first communion hymn that we sing will be "My God, thy table now is spread," which of course talks about there being room for everyone at the table, and that as Christians we welcome everyone in that celebration of the Eucharist. And this is a very graceful tune called Rockingham that comes from, again, that English method of singing metrical psalms, poem versions of the psalms to tunes. But of course here it's matched with this text that is not psalm-based, but talks about the Eucharist. There's also implicit in these readings a little bit of this idea of following in the way and being disciples. And the choir will be singing one of our more popular tunes. It's a setting of verse from Psalm 119, Beati quorum via, blessed are those who follow in the way of the Lord, who walk in the paths that the Lord has ordained. And this is music by Charles Villiers Stanford, the Edwardian turn of the 19th to 20th century English composer, actually of Irish extraction, but spent all of his career in Great Britain. And the piece itself kind of follows the way, in the way that the voices follow a very intricate polyphonic line throughout the setting of those words. This weekend is also Labor Day weekend, and this is a holiday that grew out of the labor union movement of the late 19th century, and this idea, the labor unions sticking up for those who labor and who work, and that really speaks to the heart of our own baptismal covenant to respect the dignity of every human being, to seek and serve Christ in each other. And so while Labor Day has secular roots and is a secular holiday, it really does speak very deeply to our spiritual commitment that we make as in our baptismal covenant. And of course, on Labor Day, it's hard to do anything but to finish the service with that majestic hymn, "Come, Labor On." A tune that comes right from that historical moment of the labor union movement, and then this tune by T. Tertius Noble, who initially served as the director of music at York Minster in Great Britain, but then came over and was the director of music at St. Thomas Fifth Avenue. And he wrote this tune specifically for these words. And again, very much in keeping with that idea of following in the way, laboring in the vineyard fields, and bringing that, that reward home and to our kind of eternal rest. So we hope that as you are looking forward to your Labor Day weekend, that you will join us. This is the last week for Lakeshore. We will have pet blessing at Lakeshore Park at 9 o'clock, and then at 10:30 with the Cathedral Choir here downtown, and of course still our chapel Rite One service at 8 o'clock. But we hope that as you celebrate Labor Day, that you will come and join us as we worship here at St. John's Cathedral.